morning. How y'all doing? Welcome to, I don't even know if we have a name for this show. It's just like how to magnify your message. That's what we've been talking about over the last few weeks. So I just want to welcome or just say what's up to my people, Shannon and Aurora. So I know Shannon's next to me, so I can kind of like high five you this way. Right. I can't go over
I gotta do it this way.
Aurora. Here we go.
I'll give like a double high five here.
Good deal. Good deal. So Aurora, you were like out of town. You've been kind of teaching, training, workshopping, facilitating, speaking. How's that been for the last few days?
You know what? It was pretty intense. I just got back last night from 5 days in Las Vegas. I was supporting the Money 2020 conference. So to anybody who's involved in fintechs and payments, we probably ran across each other because there was tons of people. They had close to 10,000 people live for a conference, which was pretty spectacular. And it was a great experience. Lots of speakers, got to see all kinds of speakers. I saw some great things. I saw some things like, oh, wow, got to work on some of those things. But it was really terrific on so many levels, right? First and foremost, just to get together live with people was pretty incredible. Yeah.
That's awesome. What have you been up to, Shannon?
I have been I feel like I have 17 balls in the air. And doing Halloween this weekend, right? So last night I was sewing some capes for them for their costumes, and so mom stuff, kid stuff, and then business wise, getting ready for this, reevaluating kind of my business and where it's headed for the rest of this year and what I want to do with it, and then gearing up for next year and the workshops and the pathways that I want to provide for people. Like I'm just on fire with workshops. I love live workshops.
Yeah. In my space, what's been happening? It's been some of the same type of stuff. It's the end of the year. I met with my mastermind group about 2 weeks ago. We went to Delaware and we hung out and we did our 2022 strategic plan. And so now it's kind of just formalizing that, getting my business budget done, all of that stuff. And this is a new year. I'm like, this year we're gonna have a grown-up business, people. We're gonna make sure that this year is a year of growth. So I'm excited, like both of you, about 2022 and what it's gonna look like. But even before that happens, I'm super excited about some of the stuff that we've got going on, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, let's get started with the topic. We're talking today about, Shannon, just let them know what we're doing today.
Yeah, all right. So we are talking about some simple tips or tricks that you can use to improve your ... So you listen to us and we all have our different topics. I'm Story, Aurora is the speaker pitch, and then Robert is all things stages and really shining a spotlight on your thing. And so today we're going to talk about that because everybody needs those simple actionable steps that help them be more clear in what they're doing, more focused in their action so that they can get the momentum that they need. So I always get to go first, which is a blessing and a curse in and of itself, but I'm super excited. And so story is one of those things that it's kind of nebulous. It's kind of fluid. It's not very tangible all the time. And so when I work with clients, we try to get to that point that fluidity is okay, but there are very simple, actionable steps that you can take to improve your story and your storytelling ability. And so I wanted to just share 3 of those with you today. And the first one is one that pretty much all of you, I am sure, have heard before: show, don't tell. And when it comes to story, and when you're talking about your business, or you're talking about marketing, it's so easy for entrepreneurs to slip into the talking about the thing and talking about the stuff. Like it's what's kind of drilled into us that we need to share the benefits and the pain points, and we need to talk about the thing. But when it comes to story and connecting with your clients, you always want to show. So what does that mean in a story? It means that you're trying to paint a picture of what happened. You're bringing them into that moment with you. You're not talking about the moment from a removed place. Like, you are walking through it, and you want to bring your clients in that with you. And so sometimes it's helpful to just envision one person. You are bringing one person into this moment that you went through, this story that you experienced, and they're with you. You want them to feel connected to it and feel like they're actually there. So that's how you want to share the story, is you want to share the details that will help them know what it sounds like to be there, maybe what it smells like, what visuals are you seeing? Is there a breeze that's ruffling your hair? Is there sunlight that's glaring in your eyes? Those sensory details are all things that help anchor them in your story, in your moment. And so, put those in. You don't need to overload it. All you need are a few, and that anchors them in that experience. And it feels like, they're there with you. And then the rest of your story that you tell them, they will go with you wherever you want to take them. So show, don't tell. The second thing is related to the first one. You want to let go of all of the details that don't relate to bringing them into that moment with you. And so all of us, when we share a story or we talk to a friend about something, we have all these things that we do in our minds to help organize that information for us. We put timestamps, if you will, on it. And so we're like, okay, this next day, and then it was the next hour, and then it was the next week, right? That's what we do to organize that information in our minds. And sometimes we feel like we need to share, well, this happened before this, like we're setting those things up. So number 2, again, is let go of the other details that don't anchor them in that moment with you. And so what this looks like is let go of the timeline. Like you don't, unless it's important to the structure of your story, you really don't need to tell people that it was on a Thursday and, it happened at 3:00 and this, and you don't necessarily need to frame your story in the way that your mind wants to keep track of that information, because keep in mind that you're taking them on a journey there. You're pulling them into a specific moment, and then you're taking them on a journey. And so ask yourself, if those other details are not really, really relevant, let them go. It just makes your story longer. It makes your point harder to see. It dilutes the heart and the clarity of your story. So let them go. And the third tip that I want to share with you is practice, practice, practice. There is nothing that will make you a better storyteller or find more clarity in your story, in the way you want to tell it, the way you want to share it, than practicing it. So if you have a sensitive story, practice it in a small group, and then a little bit larger, but create those experiences for yourself that you practice sharing it, because I can guarantee you that you will learn and refine as you go, and you will get feedback that might surprise you. Be like, oh, wow, they really connected to the particular way that I talked about this moment. I'm going to keep that. And there might be something else that they didn't connect to at all. So make sure that you build that in whenever you're creating a new story, whether it's your brand story as a whole, or if it's just a story about what you did last weekend and you're relating that to your offering that you're giving. Make sure that you build in time to practice it. You can do it on a Zoom room all by yourself, so you can get used to doing it on the camera. If you're building kind of a virtual stage for yourself, you can do it with a friend, but create those opportunities where you practice sharing it. And then when it's the real deal and you're sharing it on that important webinar or your first stage or your first workshop that you're teaching, you'll be ready and you'll be able to be more natural because you practiced it and you're not trying to keep all the things in your head. You understand the flow of it and you can kind of settle into that so that it can be more natural. And those are my 3 tips for today.
All right. Cool beans. So who's number 2?
I won't even make you toss the coin, Robert. I'll go ahead and be number 2. How about that?
I was on the edge of my seat waiting.
Which way was the coin gonna go, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shannon, I love all those tips, and the tip that I have that was my number 1 is kind of the similar to yours. Defining, we always get so much guidance about defining our audience, making sure you know who your audience is, defining your audience, who's your avatar. They, always want to, give us an avatar. So I think that those words are important. I like to frame the audience that I want to speak to, as an audience of one. Who is the one person that I'm trying to speak to? I love, one of the groups that I love to speak to are entrepreneurial women. And that's a great descriptor. I can come up with lots of, descriptive words about, what that woman is like. But when I make an entrepreneurial woman and I give her a name, I name her Jackie. And she's actually someone that I actually know, maybe someone I've interacted with in a Facebook group or someone I maybe know in real life. When I start to create a pitch for a conference or a podcast that Jackie listens to, or that Jackie's going to attend, well, then everything that I do immediately becomes elevated, because I'm creating for her. I'm creating something that is specific to what she needs. And all of the descriptor words that are under the word my avatar are now ascribed to Jackie. That you may have heard stories about consumer products companies like Procter & Gamble or maybe the Kellogg Company, and they talk about who are the consumers that buy and use their products. And they go even a step further than just giving their customer a name and a whole bunch of descriptive words, but they'll come up with pictures. They'll have a picture of what the person what the man who uses Old Spice, what does he look like? And what does the mom who, uses Ivory soap, like, what does she look like? And if that helps you, I would do that. Go and, Google some pictures and find a picture, or grab that picture of, have in your mind, who is this person? Who is my audience of one that I'm creating for, that I speak to, that I want to put pitches out into the world so I can land stages, so I can talk to her. For me, it's someone who I might give a name to, like Jackie. I want to make sure I can talk to her. So that's tip number 1. Have an audience of one that you really are focused on. Tip number 2 is to have pitches that are in the can, ready to go. Have descriptions of the types of presentations that you can give, fleshed out, great copy, great title, all of the details. Have them ready to go. Have them in a little digital folder on your computer. You never know when you are going to maybe get tagged in a Facebook group about a podcast host that's looking for guests, or someone shares that they're looking for guests for their summits. These opportunistic opportunities that just kind of pop up. You don't want to have to break the flow of your day to all of a sudden think through, like, okay, what can I talk about? What could I pitch? What could I offer? Or to have something that is, less than focused, less than optimal. If you have your pitches ready to go, then when an opportunity presents itself, the only thing you have to do is pop it open, maybe do a little bit of tailoring, some editing to make it, fit the specific opportunity, and hit send. That's all you have to do. What's that old saying? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's that process of making sure that you've got, a solid set of topics that you can offer. And if, perhaps you get an opportunity that maybe is outside of that, then maybe it's, you have an easier way of kind of editing together what you already have into something fresh and new. But have things ready to go so that you don't have to put the brakes on your day to offer yourself as a guest. And I would also say, maybe this is tip 2A, if you get tagged in a Facebook group and someone says, "Oh, I think Shannon would be great for your show," And Shannon pops on and says, "Oh, thank you." Well, that's great. It's great to acknowledge that you were tagged, but then you can go further right in that reply, like you're thanking the person who tagged you. But then you can say, "Hey, Susie, I'd love to hear more about your show. I can talk about this, this, and this for your audience." You can only do that if you've got your pitches ready to go, if you've got them all worked out. And that immediately makes you a value add. You cut down on the back and forth with Susie, the podcast host, because now she knows, oh, Shannon can talk about this, this, and this. She sounds great. Let's move the ball forward. So again, you want to just be ready so that you don't have to get ready. Last tip is to have what I call your dream list. We've all, maybe as entrepreneurs, have heard about having your dream 100. Entrepreneurs that you'd love to partner with, or have some kind of engagement with. A dream pitch list is what I would encourage you to start to develop. What are the events that you would like to be a part of, that you'd like to be on their stages? Who are the podcast hosts that you would like to be on that you want to be a part of their show? Who has a Facebook group that, where they do live, webinars within the group? Who are those? What's your dream list? So often I think we stay kind of focused on just waiting for opportunities to present themselves so we can pitch. More and more, I want to see people be more proactive in having a list that they're always working against, so that you're not always feeling like, okay, where can I look? Get that list together and then start developing those, where you need to develop relationships, learn about them, study them. What are they looking for? What do they like? Who's been on their show before? Like, do that research so that when you are ready to make that ask, to make that offer, when they open up a call for speakers, when they put up a post that they're looking for guests, you've got all of this learning and knowledge that will help you put your best foot forward. So have your dream list of stages that you want to be on, and then always be in a constant state of working it. Those are my tips for today.
I feel like you're talking just to me, and I feel kind of called out.
I'm sorry, Shannon. I should have been. It's
I love
early
it.
Here in California. It's early here in California, so I'm like, I got to use a name that's quick to me. And Shannon, your name was quick to me this morning.
But every tip, I was like, oh, she's right. Yeah, she's right. Yeah, she's really, really right. I loved them, and talk about, that's the way to be better prepared for sure with your pitches, and gets rid of the slushiness of.
Such a good word. Like, gets rid of the
slushiness.
Right?
I like it.
I think that might be the theme for this whole, our whole show today is, tips to get rid of the slushiness.
There you go.
There we go. Wow. Yeah. So these are amazing. And I think that I am not that far from you all. I know that Shannon, you talked about really how to uncover, and then Aurora talked about being ready, or getting ready so you don't have to, being ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay ready. One of them. Yeah, ready. That's the consistent word there. Yeah. All right. So here's where I am. You've created your story, and you've begun to pitch stages. And one of the things that discourages some entrepreneurs is that they feel like they've got to pitch stages and then wait to get responses, right? I was pitching some stuff, and I actually just secured a couple of stages for 2022. I just got an email yesterday about something that I got selected for in Orlando in January or February, right? So here's the thing. I can do this. I can pitch stages, and I can wait around, or I can create my own stage, right? And I think one of the things that we've been talking about is, getting ahead of the game, really being proactive, and not waiting for permission, creating your own stuff, right? And so video, especially live stream and on-demand video, YouTube, whatever it is, these are great ways of really creating your own stages. Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, Twitter Live. Nobody can stop you from going live and creating your own stage, right? So how do you show up in a way that is super powerful and connective and ready when you're on your own stages, right? So there are 3 things that I have. So my 3 tips are: number 1, Aurora talked about your audience of 1, right? And here is my tip number 1. Let me make sure that I've got my screen ready to go, because I want to make sure that everybody's tips are on screen. So you got focus on the audience of 1. Here's mine. Focus on the eyes of your audience, right? Here's one of the things that happens. I see people live on Facebook, see them live on LinkedIn, see them live on Instagram, and they're all over the place, right? Imagine standing in front of somebody, having a conversation with them, and they're all over the place, right? They're looking everywhere. I've literally had conversations with people, they're looking all over the place, and I'm talking to them, and I'm kind of like dipping and dodging, trying to catch their eyes, right? So if you are sharing, if you are connecting, because they say the eyes are the window to the soul, what can you do to connect with your audience? Because that is key. You've got to connect with them, because there's some great information that you have to share with them. So connect with them by making sure that you're clear on where your lens is and looking at the lens. Sometimes your lens may not be, it may feel uncomfortable at first, but your goal, the result that you want, is to be able to connect with your audience, right? And sometimes the way that our laptops are built doesn't make that easy. So we've got to be aware of it. Do I need to have my laptop stacked on some books or crates or whatever, right? So that I can make sure that I'm connecting with the audience. So that's number 1. Number 2 is this. Number 2 is making sure that you are intentional about your stage. What do I mean by making sure that you're intentional about your stage? So Aurora and Shannon and I have some things on our stage that are staged. There's some stuff on our stage that not only relates to what we talk about, but it also relates to who we are. So if I make Aurora big on screen here, you'll see that Aurora has this A in her background, right? Let me actually make sure that I can bring Aurora's
She's got her book there. I see her book. You get picked.
Yeah, so her book is there. There's an A in her background. And, the book, right? So these are subtle things. Aurora's not saying, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, right? But she is saying, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, right? Right? So there are things there that are in the background. If you look at my background here, right? This is not in your face. But if I go like this, what am I pointing at? Find your voice.
Find your voice.
Right? There's some different things that are on screen. If I were wider, you would see something on my screen that says, make today storific. TM, trademarked. All right. So we're doing some things that are specific. If I bring Shannon up, Shannon's got some stuff in her background. She doesn't have a book. No, come on, Shannon. She doesn't have a book. She doesn't have a book.
I don't have a book.
No, but there's some stuff there, right?
Yeah.
What is that thing to your over your left shoulder, Shannon?
My left shoulder. Oh, yes. Those are some sculptures that my daughter made.
And what does that indicate? That indicates that there is something that is of value to Shannon. It's something, it talks about the familial relationship. It's a story piece.
Yeah.
Right? So if somebody in the chat says, hey, what's that thing? Shannon's got a story around it that she can tell.
I actually do, and it's a story that I use in my teaching. So, yeah.
Yeah. So let me make Shannon larger so you can see her story piece there. All right. So I was back, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So, yeah, the thing is, everything that is in your space is fodder for a story, and you should be intentional about what's there. I mean, there are things. I've got books, I've got microphones, I've got like little cameras, I've got something like a little museum back there because it indicates the technology in me. it indicates the progression in my virtual space, right? So this is all great stuff. Now, let's go with our last tip. My third tip is this. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice, practice, practice. Create what we call a practice stage, right? Let me see if, did I erase it? I think I erased it. That's okay. Create a practice stage. So what I do is I have something I have a Facebook group, right, that I have created. Give me 1 second. I have a Facebook group that I've created. Sometimes when I go live, there's nobody else in that group. It's just me, right? But I go live in this Facebook group because I want to be able to come back and check it out or pull it up live so that I can see what's happening with me, right? Without the prying eyes of other people. Right? So that's my practice stage. You can go live on YouTube and make it private. Practice stage, right? You can go live with people that you trust, or you can record it and then watch it after. Practice stage. In order to make sure that you are sharing your story in a way that is connective with everyone else, you want to make sure that you practice. Okay, create a practice stage, and there's nobody that can tell you that you can't create your own practice stage. All right, so we've got somebody saying, are you prepared to tell your story? This is great information. Somebody would love to interview Aurora on their show. Okay, all right. They interview authors on Amazon Live. Cool, excellent.
Perfect. Well, we'll have to connect.
Good.
Thanks very much.
Check it out.
Good deal.
A virtual
Good deal.
stage created an opportunity for another stage for Aurora to tell her story. This is like so meta.
Yeah, exactly. So, I know we've only got a few minutes to wrap up here, but let's do this. Let us really share and reiterate why we're here and what is happening next. We've been talking for the last few weeks about tips to share your story and tips to become better at sharing your story, or tips to unearth or uncover your story. And the reason that we've been doing that is because we have been talking about this workshop. And I don't even want to use the word workshop because it's so generic.
So much more than that. Much more than that.
Yes. We are launching what we call the Magnify Your Message experience. An experience to help you discover your story, develop your pitch, and deliver your message on your own stage. Shannon, Aurora, myself, we're super excited about this. I mean, I know you got to go in just a second here, Shannon, but tell them how excited you are about this experience here.
So here's the thing. The feedback that you get and the customized help, support is unparalleled in a live experience. And story, like in order to find your story, find the one that's be like, ooh, that's the one. That's the one that connects all the dots. That's the one that's going to really align your message, your business, your customers and where they are and what they need from you. Yeah. It's just, it is best done in a live experience where you get to speak, you get to be heard, you get a chance for some laser coaching, some hot seat coaching, some be able to ask questions if you're stuck. It just, this is the best way to do it. This is literally the best way to do this work is in community, in a live experience. And so, yeah, I'm really lit up about this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Aurora, any words about the event that you want to share?
What I am so excited about is that the three of us have come together to collaborate and bring this experience to life. And for those that are going to join us, you don't get a day with one coach. You get a day with three coaches. We're all going to be there all day. Each of us is going to take a lead in talking about what we are experts at, but all of us are going to be chiming in and supporting you in that day. I have not been to a lot of workshops where you get that. I've had some great experiences. I love workshops that are led by one person. I lead workshops by myself, but the idea that that you get the three of us for a day to work on your story, to help you create a great pitch, and then learn all the things that you need to do to create a stage of your own while you're pitching other stages. Like, you get all of that in one experience with us. And I could not be more excited to, one, partner with Shannon and Robert on this, and two, to be able to work with folks who want to get this ready, to get all of these things in place and be really ready to go for 2022. Robert has just said that he already booked 2 speaking stages for the new year. All of that's happening. It's happening now. And you now is the time to get it ready. Now is the time to invest the time. So I could not be more thrilled. I can't wait to see who joins us that day. And the idea that you get the three of us, like, I'm excited that the three of us get to be together and working on it. So you're going to get all of our energy and expertise to support you on that day. So, come join us. The link is there. Come join us. We'd love to have you, love to work with you, love to help you get set up to command stages and to build your own stage. Just come join us.
Love it. Love it. And I think the thing that I want to share last is that although we are going to be presenting, although we're going to be pouring, this is not one of those things where you sit there and we pour all day. You will walk away with a plan. This is interactive. This is dialogic. This is not something where you just kind of, it's not entertainment. It's something that is going to be transformational for you, so that when you leave, you're confident that you know how to do certain things. You already have some things in place. You have already done certain things during the workshops, during the experience, so that when you leave, your next day, your next week, you'll see some of the things that you worked on coming to life. You'll see it in a way that is going to be transformational, not only for you, but the others who your story is meant to touch as well. So listen, I'm super excited about this, and I can't wait for November the 10th. So if you look right here, go to magnify your message, wrong hand. Okay. Go to magnifyyourmessage.live/info, and we will share some thoughts with you. We'll share with you how you can get access to this workshop, to this experience together with Shannon, Aurora, and myself. And we can't wait to see you. We can't wait to see you. So come on through. All right.
Pull up, as the kids say.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, listen, y'all. That's it. We got to get on out of here. We'll see y'all next time. I don't know. We're going to be on again soon, but we'll let you know. All right.
We'll let you know.
See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.